And we're back on Day of Giving here with Terry Thompson, a member of our Board of Trustees. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So you're one of the newer members on our board. How did you get involved with Marymount?
Well, let's see. It's a long story, but in a nutshell, I've always been passionate about higher education, and I think Marymount University has an incredibly dynamic leadership. And I have a neighbor who was a longtime trustee at Marymount, and he said, this is something you should think about doing. And he persuaded me, he introduced me to Marymount leadership, and it just has been a great honor to be asked, and I'm thrilled to be a member of the board. And I have been to 2 meetings so far. So this coming up this week is my 3rd board meeting.
So you're actually the first Board of Trustees member we've had on in 2 years of doing this live stream on Day of Giving. So can you maybe tell the viewers a little bit about what is the role of a board in running a university?
Well, in a private university like Marymount, the Board of Trustees literally is the governing body of the board. So President Irma Becerra reports to the board, and the board makes all of the major decisions about what Marymount University should be doing as it goes forward.
And what was your career background?
I spent my career in human resources management for 2 of the largest HR consulting firms, and got into that purely by accident because I was a philosophy major in college, went on to get a master's degree in philosophy, and finally said, well, maybe I should find a career that actually might support me, and philosophy didn't look like that was the right place to be.
So you lead the Board of Trustees Development Committee now. What was your past experience with college fundraising, and did you even potentially cross paths with Dennis Sloan at times in that role?
I didn't mention Dennis Sloan.
Right.
It's the other big reason that I'm here at Marymount. Dennis was the head of development at William & Mary during the 90s, and I was really just beginning to be active as an alum of William & Mary back in the 90s. So I worked very closely with Dennis at William & Mary, was the first chair of the annual giving board at William & Mary. Loved working with Dennis, and of course Dennis left William & Mary in the late 90s to go to the West Coast, where he spent the next 20 years of his career. And when I heard that Dennis was coming back to the East Coast, I was thrilled to know that that was going to happen. And then when I heard he was coming to Marymount, as I had mentioned, my neighbor Tom Donahue had been encouraging me to think about Marymount and service to Marymount, and when Dennis came, that was the icing on the cake.
At William & Mary, you played women's basketball. Have you had the opportunity yet to catch some of our athletics teams here and interact at all with the athletic department?
Yes, I've seen a couple of the women's basketball games, and I'm looking forward to the start of the season in November. And looking forward to seeing them again. Jimmy, you say I played basketball at William & Mary. It is more accurate to say I was on the team, because mostly I sat on the bench.
The best seat in the house role?
Best seat in the house, yes.
So today is Day of Giving. Anything else you want to pitch our community just about participation and the importance of giving back of any amount?
There is nothing more important than giving back to your university. It is so critical because what you received as an undergraduate or a graduate student here, you need to pay it forward to all the people who will come after you. So giving is incredibly important. Participation is incredibly important. Some of us can give a lot, some of us can't give much, but the important thing is to give. So I encourage everybody listening to this to think about Marymount and make a gift today to Marymount on this Day of Giving.
Well, we have the Board of Trustees here for meetings this week, and it's perfect timing with Hall of Fame homecoming. So thank you, Terry Thompson, for coming to represent the board and telling us a little bit more about what you all do here.
My pleasure. Go Saints.